Hey y'all, how's everybody doing today? It is Sunday, September 16th. I'm out walking the Prince Frederick to Bay Trail in eastern Maryland, or excuse me, southern Maryland. I'm actually walking to a scout meeting, which is convenient. The meeting happens to be held at a spot right next to a trailhead, so I went about 5 miles down the trail and I'm walking back. So hopefully my timing works out. Anyway, just a couple of random thoughts today. First of all, I want to thank everybody who contributed to my search for night music and the sounds of nature after the sun goes down. Link to the playlist in the video up here somewhere around what we did with that. I actually wound up with more people responding via my blog and via Twitter. Links for those are down below. Not a lot of YouTubers, so I'm still in the process of putting together some of those sound clips and posting them up. But I thought it was interesting. Didn't get as much response as I wanted, but thank you to those who played along. It was really interesting to see the differences in different areas around what kind of critters, what kind of sounds were out at night. In any case, I'll keep that going. Originally I had said September 15th because I wanted to kind of get a simultaneous snapshot of lots of different locations. But I'm going to keep it going and just keep it as a category. We'll see what turns up. Other thing I just wanted to point out, as I'm doing this, Hurricane Florence is still, well, I guess it's a tropical depression now, but it's still dumping feet of rain in the Carolinas. Florence is very near Florence right now, Florence, South Carolina. I've got some family in the house from Eastern Carolina who wisely ran away from that storm and are now in my living room, which is great. And we're watching with anxiety around all the flooding in New Bern and Fayetteville coming up. And I just wanted to, say I hope everybody's doing okay with that. But also, every time this comes around, we always talk about heroism in the form of first responders and folks who show up with boats to rescue people off their roofs and all that kind of stuff. And it's wonderful. I'm not taking away from any of that. Appreciation to all the folks who give their time and energy and skills that way. But I was also relayed a story this week about Hurricane Hazel, which was the last one to, well, not the last one, but one of the major ones that hit that same area back in 58, and how essentially nobody knew that one was coming. We've absolutely come a long way in our ability to forecast and predict and warn, and I think a lot needs to be attributed to our scientists and engineers who've had the forethought to put things in place that give us better information on storms like this. So the tools we've got are fantastic now. Not only satellite imagery, see the thing coming, but all of these extremely complex computational fluid dynamics models that look at pressure and wind shear and humidity and all these things and predict days ahead where these storms are going to go. You're able to put everybody on alert. You're able to realistically talk about how strong this thing is going to be. I mean, look at Florence. It went from tropical storm to category 4, back down to tropical storm, and then inched its way back up to 4, and then 3, 2, 1 tropical storm, tropical depression when it hit land. And all that was predicted. The course changed a little bit and got more and more refined, but it's amazing the stuff we can do now with supercomputers, certainly running all those calculations quickly, but also all of the math, the understanding, the modeling that went into that. We're not just asking the computers what's it going to do. There's a whole lot of intellectualism and know-how that goes into understanding the relationships between all those factors. And oh, by the way, on a spinning spherical Earth, that's what makes hurricanes rotate the way they do. So your entire reference frame is moving in addition to the wind blowing and pressures changing and all of that. So it's incredibly complex. And the stuff we're able to do to save lives and prevent damage these days, it's just absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, you know, population density is a heck of a lot higher than it was back in 1958 too. So there's a lot more things for a hurricane like this to tear up. Anyway, I feel like we need to give a shout out and a note of appreciation. Prior to having weather satellites, prior to having satellite technology, a lot of this just snuck up on you. You know, you might have heard a report from a ship at sea that, you know, wow, this is huge. But you know, my dad was telling me a story about coming home from school and being told, you know, hurry along, it's going to rain soon. And the next morning, Hurricane Hazel hit. And that was it, you know. No prepping up the food stores, no boarding up the windows, none of that. And now we get the opposite effect. We get waiting for a hurricane is like being stalked by a turtle. You know it's coming, but it's so slow. I mean, we knew for a week. I was 5 days ago, I was prepping my house and my workplace, and you know, we were talking about covering computers and shutting down networks and sandbagging certain doorways and spiderweb, sorry. And you know, I can't help but feel glad that it took a southerly turn and avoided us here. These clouds overhead are still the outer band of the thing. I mean, it's enormous. But we missed a lot of the wind, a lot of the rain. And I'm grateful for that. But at the same time, for those who got another spider web right in the face, those who caught the brunt of this, you know, I feel guilty feeling good because they're getting a mess. And but again, the fact that we knew it was coming, we could see what was going on. Right now, I can look up on the internet and see, you know, that the Cape Fear River is sitting at 40 feet. Flood stage is somewhere around 19. Neuse River, similar. Tar River avoided most of it. Old Tar River Basin was outside the majority of the rain. So, and we can see, you know, what roads are having trouble, where the power outages are. It's just phenomenal to me, the advances we've made and the way that helps us. It's also phenomenal to me, the people who just flat out ignore it. You know, I don't know whether this is tied into the conspiracy theorists around, you know, everybody, government is lying to me, and got a hitchhiker. Anyway, I don't know how much of this gets wrapped up in the idea that, you know, the government's lying to me, the earth is actually flat, we control the weather, everything is done for a political or legitimate purpose to go hurt people. I mean, that's just, it's stupid, it's hogwash, it's uninformed, it's ignorant. It's a willful ignorance. And we take all of these things that we've poured hundreds of thousands of man hours of smart people and technology and investment into developing the capability to save lives, and we still have people that sadly don't pay attention. And I'm not trying to point too many fingers here. It's just it saddens me in this whole anyway, bottom line, people are free to make their own decisions, and I hope that people are weathering the flooding, the power outages. I hope they're doing okay, and I also hope we put everything we can behind getting in and helping out everybody we can. Everything we do is a risk. Getting in your car and driving to work is a risk. Accidents and strange things happen every day. But if you're an outdoorsman, if you're an engineer, if you're a pilot, if you're a sailor, I'm all for those things. You spend a lot of time thinking about how do we leave ourselves options? How do we mitigate risk? How do we identify the warning signs that we know something's going wrong and that we're going to have to change course to reevaluate? All you outdoors folks who do this as well, I know you think the same thing. You know, when do I have to turn around and give up on the summit? What do I have to take knowing that the temperature might get 10 degrees colder than I think it's gonna? What's my backup plan if this river's flooded? You know, it's all there. We think about it all the time. Weather is one of those things that can make or break certainly a trip, but when it comes to hurricanes, it can wreak a lot of havoc and cause a lot of devastation and loss of life. So let's make use of the tools we've got. Let's improve them. Let's improve our models. They're damn good, by the way. And let's put some faith in the folks that have spent a lot of time and energy and expertise learning how to do this better. Because all our models, all our predictions, all of our ability to communicate, it's all about helping each other out. So let's use it, let's share, let's do what we can now to help recover. I don't know, I don't want to come across as too negative. World's a beautiful place, but there are things that'll bite you in it. Anyway, that's my rambling for the day. Again, stay safe in everything that you do. Learn what you can. Be smart, be informed. Have a great time. Appreciate what we have. And for all of those that are now unfortunately having to deal with the aftermath of a hurricane, good luck. And we're going to do what we can to help.